I'm back with Brooke Goldstein, human rights attorney, director of the Lawfare Project, thelawfareproject.org. You know, Brooke, we talked about moral equivalence, people equating what Israel does with what these terrorists do. Now, I'm a little more worried about another group. This is not the open champions of terrorism, but rather a second larger and perhaps more sly group. And this is the group that's going to wait for Israel to do something. And then when Israel responds, and I take it that the purpose of Netanyahu's declaration of war is that, look, once you do something like this, it is our job to level you so you can't do it again. But the moment that the Israeli army begins to move into Gaza, the moment that you begin to see scenes of destruction, that's when the second group is going to move in and go, wait a minute, the terrorists only killed 700 people. The moment that the Israelis kill more than 700 people, this is a disproportionate retaliation against what has happened. This now deserves equal condemnation from the... So this is a different kind of moral equivalence. Speak, if you will, to that.
Well, these same people who are silent and then jump and scream and condemn Israel and the IDF for engaging in operations that are meant to contain terror are absolutely silent as Hamas keeps its own people in an open-air prison, torturing and killing political prisoners daily, recruiting children as young as 3 years old for armed activities, recruiting children for suicide homicide attacks, slaughtering gays, hanging gays on the street, brutalizing women, honor-killing women, throwing gay people off balconies. They are silent at the torture and the imprisonment and the use of the entire Palestinian Arab community in Gaza as human shields by Hamas. And Israel, what's remarkable, has exercised so much restraint. It is because of the humanity of the IDF and the restraint that the IDF has exercised that we have this problem today. The IDF could absolutely annihilate Hamas, but for some reason, who knows why? Probably because they are afraid of the international condemnation, which I think is a big mistake, has refused until this day to get rid of this terroristic element that has terrorized not just their own people, but the people of Israel. You mentioned at the beginning, I have been under rocket attack with my family. We were sleeping in a bomb shelter for a week as 5,000 rockets were rained down on me and my children and my friends and my family and all the people, Christian, Druze, and Bedouin and Muslim that live in Israel and deserve to live in Israel in peace. And still the IDF does not do what it absolutely has the capability to do, which is annihilate the threat altogether. Because the IDF is the most humane army in the world. Look at the pictures coming out of Gaza. Look what they are doing to the dead, mutilated, naked bodies of young women that they have raped. They are parading them in the streets as the Palestinian Muslims hand out sweets and celebrate. No such activity happens in the civilized world, certainly not in Israel. It is forbidden in the Jewish religion to take any type of pleasure or to celebrate when you go to war and even when you have to kill and destroy an enemy. This is tragic. The entire thing is absolute tragedy. And I think finally the Western world is waking up. They are cutting aid to the murderous Palestinian Authority whose first victims are innocent Palestinian children that they recruit and they incite and they indoctrinate towards hatred on a daily basis. So I want to thank you again, Dinesh, for really spreading the truth about this subject. The only way to fight against this destructive moral equivalence, which really is the death of freedom and the death of our great American societies, this moral equivalence, is to speak the truth, to go on social media, to spread the truth of who these people are and what they're doing. Because if you are, at this point, going out on the street and advocating in so-called pro-Palestinian rallies, which are clearly Hamas rallies where they're stomping on the flag of Israel, where they're chanting death to the Jews, you are pro-terror. And I think the world is waking up to see exactly what this movement is.
Brooke Goldstein, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
If aches and pains are your problem, Relief Factor is your remedy. Debbie and I are proof of this. We started taking Relief Factor a couple of years ago, and what a huge difference we've seen in our joints. Nothing short of amazing. Aches and pains are totally gone thanks to this 100% drug-free solution called Relief Factor. How does it work? Relief Factor supports your body's fight against inflammation. That's the source of aches and pains. More than 1 million people have tried Relief Factor. About 70% have gone on to order more. It works for them. Works for Debbie. She can now do exercises, planks, push-ups that for several years she wasn't able to do. So Relief Factor has been a big game changer for her, her aunt, other members of our family, Mike here in the studio, and for many other people. You too can benefit. Try it for yourself. Order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of just $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF to find out more about this offer. The number again, 800-4-RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. Feel the difference.